Three hunters from Spain saw reptile-looking aliens coming out of UFO in 1968. The incident occurred on August 31, 1968. Three hunters from Lyria, Valencia, who were about 50 years old, were resting in the vicinity of the gorge. Located about 5 km east of the small mountain town of Yesa, Valencia, they were about to eat, but their meal was suddenly interrupted. Their attention was drawn to a kind of light in the sky. Seconds later, one of the hunters, Mateo Chover, left the gun and bag on the ground and went to the edge of the ravine to an improvised toilet. He was surprised to see that on the other side of the ravine, along the bottom of which a stream flowed, about 100 or 150 meters away, there was a humanoid creature with incredible characteristics: a pale complexion, the head of a lizard without a helmet, with 2 red eyes, hands ending in claws. In one of them, he held a transparent helmet with a white visor, and a tail, like a cat's, which touched the ground. The exposed parts of the creature's body looked naked and were gray in color. The rest was covered with white overalls, which came down from the neck, covering the wrists and ending with white boots. Behind him was a metal backpack or a rectangular silver box half a meter high, gleaming from above with a black antenna. According to Chover, the creature seemed to be waiting for something or someone, and although the witness was not completely sure because of the distance, he believed that from time to time the humanoid poked a forked tongue out of his mouth. The humanoid reptile did not seem to notice the presence of Mateo, who, crouching among the bushes, turned and gave his companions a quiet sign. Those hunters watched him for about 3 minutes, and then above the carob tree, about 10 meters from the ravine, a black metal cylinder appeared, the surface of which reflected the sun's rays. The hunters figured that the cylinder was about 30 meters long and about 10 in circumference. It was completely motionless, being in a horizontal position, parallel to the earth, in the direction northeast-southwest. No sound was heard, and it scared even more. Moving, crawling, and trembling with fear since they had never seen anything like it, they believed that creatures from another world had invaded Spain. The frightened hunters retreated until they found shelter among the thickets of blackberries, and Chover ultimately even lost his hunting hat. So they were laying in a blackberry bush drenched in cold sweat for a long time when they heard a loud noise coming from the ravine, similar to the sound of spinning gears or a working mechanism, which immediately stopped. Again, for a moment, some kind of light in the sky blinded them. In the end, they cautiously escaped from cover, making sure that both the UFO and the mysterious humanoid disappeared. Having calmed down a little, they quenched their thirst with water from the flasks, crossed the ravine, and holding ready-loaded guns, began to explore the land around the carob tree, whose tall branches and leaves looked like burned. It smelled of sulfur, an element that very often accompanies the appearance of a classic UFO. The ground was dry, and hunters found several even prints of shoes on a smooth sole, without heels, dents, or any other marks. Looking at the tracks and comparing them with the tracks of their hunting boots, the Spaniards calculated that the humanoid should have weighed at least 150 kg. Compared to the size of the tree, the humanoid was supposed to be about 220 centimeters or taller, since he almost touched the lower branches with his head. On their way home, they met a civil guard patrol and told him what had happened, but he was not surprised. Arriving home, the witnesses said that they saw something not from this world to their relatives and close friends, but this event never spread widely, since the witnesses preferred to keep quiet. Little is known about this interesting contact with the humanoid reptile. The witnesses paid particular attention to the details of the spacesuit and the grayish tint of its skin.